Quick, what's the cosine of 60 degrees? If you paused and you're not sure, this is the spot for you. So these special angles that I've talked about before, there's a nice trick to quickly remember how to find the sine and cosine of these, and this will dramatically speed up the way that you can do trig problems in general. And I've learned it from my pre-calculus teacher once upon a time, a long time ago, and she learned from someone, and I have no idea the origin of this, but I do know you'll hear me say a lot in the lectures 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. And what I mean by that is that whenever I'm working a problem that involves these angles, I'll write 1, 2, 3 in a column, and then I will write 3, 2, 1 in another column. And then you need to remember, I like to remember alphabetically, that this is the column for cosine. C comes first before S, which is sine. And so these columns correspond to values in cosine and sine. And then you need to remember which angles you're talking about. And when you are dealing with acute angles, the largest angle in that quadrant is 60 degrees, or the largest acute angle that's on our special angle list. There's a middle angle, which is at 45 degrees, and then there's the smallest angle down here, which is 30 degrees. And so I draw this table, and I just go 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. And I don't draw the whole table every time, but this is how I remember to find sine and cosine values for this. So, like, for example, my cosine of 60 degrees, what I would do is I would go to the cosine column, and then I'd go to the 60-degree row, and I'd see that that number 1 is there. And what that means for me is that this is the square root of 1 over 2, which is just a hard way to write 1 over 2. Right, so it's a quick way for me to remember it. If I want to know what is the cosine of 30 degrees, which would be my example here, 30 degrees is this bottom row, right? So, I'm no longer looking at the 60-degree row. I'm now looking at the 30-degree row, and I see a 3 there. And so what I would write is the square root of 3 over 2. If you wanted, for example, to know what the sine of 45 degrees is, I would go over to the sine column, which is a little different now, right? My sine column is over here, and my 45-degree row is here, and I see that there is a 2 there, which means this must be the square root of 2 over 2. So all of these numbers, these 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1s, you take the square root of the number and you throw it over 2, and that gives you the value for these special angles. Now, in practice, this seems like a lot, but it's really not. If I ask you for a second, and we're just imagining we're starting on a blank homework problem, and I say, hey, what is the sine of 30 degrees? Or no, let's not do sine of 30. I think I just did that one, or something similar. Let's do the sine of 60 degrees. Say that you don't recognize it immediately and go, oh, what do I do? You'll see me do this in class. On the little margin of the paper somewhere, I'll write 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. And that's all I will write. And I'll think to myself, okay, this is sine, or this is cosine, this is sine. 60 degrees is the big angle right here, so I'm looking at that 3 is what I'm looking at. So I see the 3 in my little table here, and I go, okay, 3, so this must be the square root of 3 over 2. All right, what about cosine 45 degrees? I go, well, 45 is the middle angle, cosine's the first column, so oh, that must be the square root of 2 over 2. How about, I don't know, what is the sine of 30 degrees? 30 degrees is the smallest angle here. Sine is that column there. There's a 1 there, so that must be the square root of 1 over 2. But the square root of 1 is 1. So this is a way that you could very, very quickly remember these special angles. Just 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. All you got to do.